Why is it important to study one or more foreign languages? Oh yes, I know what you are thinking. What a bore! English class again, and all those grammar rules and vocabulary lists and homework and class tests and listening activities. I know. But soon we are going to celebrate the European Day of Languages at school. Do you remember? It's a big event, sponsored by the Council of Europe and dedicated to common reflection on the importance of learning one or more foreign languages. I do understand that the future may look far and distant to you now, but let me tell you just a short story. In a very small village in the mountains, there once lived a girl. Her name was Mary. Her parents had moved there a few years before. They had been forced to leave the country because of a civil war, and her father had lost all his properties. It had been difficult for the family to start all over again in that small village on the Alps. All was so different from the sunny place on the sea where they had lived. Moreover, the people in the village spoke a dialect which Mary's family found difficult to understand, and Mary's elderly brother was often teased at school because of his accent. In Mary's family, more than one language was spoken every day. Mary's grandparents had been each of a different nationality, German and Italian on her father's side, Austrian and Croatian on her mother's side. Both her parents were bilingual, and her grandma could speak 5 languages. You would think that Mary was happy to have been raised in such a multicultural family, but she was not. Deep in her heart, she felt like a stranger in a foreign country. She felt like she had no home. Her family had initially planned to move to Australia. Her father had been offered a job in Brisbane, and all was ready for their departure from Trieste. Suddenly, her mother discovered that she was pregnant of Mary. Plans unexpectedly changed, and the family had to abandon their project. Mary grew up as a shy child. Her afternoons were often solitary. She would often sit outside her home and look at the sky. She dreamt of flying away. She saw herself living in another country, speaking another language, working as an interpreter, maybe a tourist guide or a teacher. Yes, she would go to Australia in the end, to Brisbane, where her family would be living had not been for her. But to do so, she had to learn English. Nobody in her family knew that language. How could she do it? It was not easy to study a foreign language in the 60s, but one day the girl, quite accidentally, discovered that on her father's old radio, if she tuned it on long frequency, she could hear the blurred voices of someone distant speaking English. Every day, when she came back from school, Mary would turn on the old radio and try to mock the strange sounds and accents that came from that weird box. Her family would laugh at her, but she would continue anyway. Things changed in Mary's life with the passing of time. She moved town, could study languages at high school and then at university. While still a student, she started working as a tour guide. She was over the moon when she got on her first tour to Rome. Mary could travel across Europe, met lots of people from other countries, and learned how to overcome her sense of loneliness and her lack of self-confidence. After graduation, she began working as an interpreter-translator, building bridges among people of different cultures and languages. That was what she wanted to do. That was what she was born for. Do you know how many languages are spoken in the world? There are between 6,000 and 7,000 languages in the world, spoken by 7 billion people divided into 189 independent states. Can you believe that yours is more relevant than another one? Most of the world's languages are spoken in Asia and Africa. The choice is vast. Let's mention a few. English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Dutch, Russian, Turkish, Arabic, Chinese. Chinese is first out of the top 5 most widely spoken languages in the world. Then comes Spanish, English is third, Hindi is fourth, Arabic is fifth. Mary's example is not unique. At least a half of the world's population are bilingual or plurilingual. That is, they speak 2 or more languages. We increasingly come across foreign languages in our daily lives. As the Council of Europe recommends, we need to generate a greater interest in languages among European citizens, also in order to facilitate integration. So why should you study 1 or more languages? Of course, everybody can find his or her own reason to do it. Here are a few suggestions. If you know 1 or more languages, you can meet new people and develop lifelong friendships. If you like traveling, knowing the language of the place you are visiting, or being at least able to communicate in English, can enrich your traveling experience. Getting to know other people's culture, including their music, movies, food, literature, poetry, theatre, fine arts, can help you become more open-minded and understanding. Mary had suffered from her cultural diversity. Learning a foreign language is a way to become aware of the fact that we are all cultural beings, products of our own environments. If you recognize the cultural base for your own attitudes and behavior, you are ready to consider others in a more favorable way. Seeing the world from a different perspective is a fantastic, eye-opening experience. If you need a change in your life, or you are looking for some excitement and adventure in your life, a foreign language can help you open a few doors more easily. Why not study abroad or leave for a gap year, or perhaps find your dream job in England or in the States? In an increasingly globalized world, companies are constantly expanding overseas and dealing with clients from all over the world. Between 2 candidates with the same skills and experience, the person who is bilingual is more likely to get the job. Whatever it is that you want, knowing a second language will offer you a wider range of opportunities and make the world a smaller place for you. What's more, did you know that knowing a foreign language can add grey matter to your brain? Bilingualism brings with it many benefits. It makes the learning of additional languages easier, enhances the thinking process, and slows down the natural decline in mental powers with age. By the way, could you guess who the little girl in the story was? Yes, you got it. Mary is a teacher now. She could change her life not only because she could speak more than 1 language, but also because she was determined and eager to learn. I'll leave you with a famous quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. And remember, languages are keys to communication and freedom.